Good morning, savages. Let's do some business. We're going to talk a little bit about our sponsors like always, and then we are going to get on to this awesome podcast. VikingCoffee.com. Actually, that's wrong. VikingCoffeeCo.com. Evan Armstrong's brand. He is the mad scientist behind Viking Coffee. They do our old man strength brew. You guys have tried it. If you haven't tried it, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get on that shit. Give these guys a holler. It's the best coffee out there. I spent like a week with two other people narrowing it down to the best possible blend for that coffee. Check out VikingCoffeeCo.com. Get some old man strength coffee. And check out his other flavors because he's got awesome coffee. I've got like a whole pantry filled with his shit. So I am back on coffee. If you can tell, I am working a mile a minute here. It was like a friend that I had lost and I brought back. So I'm back on the coffee. So gotta love that caffeine. VikingCoffeeCo.com. Use the code VikingCoffee10 at checkout for 10% off. Warrior CBD. Warrior CBD has the best stuff around. I have tried several brands, and this one is the best so far that I have tried. And they are fantastically nice people. You can just get a hold of them on Instagram and find them at Warrior CBD Official and just order right from there. The owner of the company will get on and talk to you and answer your questions and take your order right there. You can pay via PayPal, or you can check out their site at warriorcbdofficial.com. But it's easiest just to go through Instagram and drop into her DMs. So Warrior 20 off at checkout, and she will hook you up. Cerberus Strength, the good people at Cerberus. You've seen their products all over Strongman. They are dug in deep into Strongman, and they're some of the top athletes in the world are using their products. You can see them decked out in everything from the knee sleeves to elbow sleeves to t-shirts to wraps and straps and everything you possibly need to get you stronger and make you feel better while you're lifting. Check them out at Cerberus-strength.us and use the code REFINEDSAVAGE10 at checkout for 10% off. Midwest Best Grooming, MWBGroomingCo.com. You got a beard? Or ladies, you got hands? I'm betting you have hands. You need some hand lotion. You need lip balms. You need beard balm. You need beard wash and beard oil. These are the guys to check out right here in Lorain, Ohio. Fred Lozano's company. You might have heard Fred on the podcast a couple weeks ago. If you haven't, check it out. That's a great podcast. He is a super interesting cat. But they have some of the best products out there. I use their Hemingway beard balm and love it. Makes your beard smell great. Makes your broads want to actually be near you and smell your beard because it smells so good. Get that food out of there, wash it up, get some beard balm in there, make it look sweet. Check them out at mwbgroomingcompany.com and use the code SAVAGE20 at checkout for 20% off. Serious Steel, Chad Clark's boys at Serious Steel. If you don't know Chad, get to know him. I'm going to try to get him on the podcast soon. Great dude. He hooked us up with the guys at Serious Steel. The company's fantastic. They will bend over backwards for you. They are not one of these giant multi-billion-dollar companies. They are here to help you. They know strength. They can get you the best products. Whether you're outfitting a home gym or a commercial gym or a CrossFit box, whatever you need, these guys will help you out. Bands, wraps, chains, dumbbells, kettlebells, bars, whatever you need, these guys are it. Check them out before you spend $8 million at some giant company. Check out SeriousSteel.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Finally, Stay Classy Meat. So you heard I'm back on the coffee. I'm super caffeinated. I'm back on that carnivore diet too because that's how I feel best. Not for everybody. It's not the way to go for everybody. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm telling you, when I eat a big giant steak and nothing else and then go to bed, I wake up ready to rock and roll. Caffeinated and just filled with testosterone from incredible meats that I get delivered to my door from Stay Classy Meats. You guys out there, I'm sure you are eating meat as well, unless you're Powell Wenzel and living in some kind of fairy tale land where they make you eat vegetables and you think it's going to improve your Olympic lifts. False! Stay Classy Meats. Did I yell into that microphone? Was that too much? All right, I'm trying to make a point here. But Stay Classy Meats will deliver the highest quality meat to your house 24/7, 365. Animals are treated humanely. They're butchered and processed humanely. They all come from Bozeman, Montana. If you ever been to Montana, it's like a luxury palace. It's gorgeous. You got to check these guys out. StayClassyMeats.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. You're going to eat meat anyhow. You might as well get it from a good source and get high quality stuff. It's going to raise those testosterone levels. You're going to be chasing your woman around the house, lifting weights, just going out and banging bad guys' heads off cars. It'll be great. You'll love it. I highly recommend. Today on the show, enough of this stuff. Today on the show, Adam Brezina. I always say his last name wrong. You know who I'm talking about. Super talented Highland Games professional. We sat down, had a great podcast. Really super interesting guy. He reminds me of a much smarter Chris Chafin, which you'll see when you hear the interview. Really good guy, really smart guy. We had a great time together, talked about everything Highland Games related. If you guys don't know what Highland Games are, you're not interested in Highland Games, tough shit. Listen, you'll like this one. He's a super interesting guy. You'll love it. For you Highland Games guys out there, you're going to love this one as well. So check it out. Enjoy this one. Sit back with your Viking coffee and your big steak from Stay Classy Meats and enjoy this podcast, and we'll see you at the end. Adam, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
It's a little bit of a rough trip up here.
I got here fine. Just locked my keys in the car right now, so we got to figure this out. I don't know how I'm going to get back in.
I don't know if cops come and do that for you anymore. Like I said, we got might have a cop or two at the 4 p.m. class, depending on Fridays are dead here. So hopefully somebody shows up that knows how to do that.
I hope so. I got to get my Grand Theft Auto skills involved here.
What truck is it?
18.
Oh, so
18. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out. So we were just talking. You were coming off of a broken arm from last year?
Well, what year was that? That would have been the 17 season.
Yeah.
I was out in Orange County. Some of the guys mostly know the story, but we were end of the second day, doing challenge events with the caber. I think it was me, about 4 or 5 of us left, just trying to throw this big monster. It's like 180-pound caber. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I wind took a gust of it off my shoulder, so I kind of just let it go, not realizing I didn't push it away far enough and didn't run away from it. So I realized, okay, I'm going to get my hands apart so it'll land right in front of me and I'll be fine. Well, all the tacky and everything on your hands kept them together. Well, the heavy end hit, shot the light end down right on my radius. And broke it, and now...
nice scar.
You like that? It makes me look kind of tough.
Did they put like a pin in there or something?
So I got 8 screws and a plate in there now.
Wow.
So I'm I'm pickable at the airport now.
Yeah, I was going to say, they must jump all over you when you go through there.
They get me.
And then how long was the recovery from that?
Well, I had the surgery about a week and a half later. Well, that was fun, might add. I drove from Phoenix, Arizona that night all the way to Ohio with a truck.
With a broken arm?
With a broken arm. I was in some serious pain.
Yeah.
So I think we got into town on a Wednesday. I had a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I was in the surgery room on Friday.
Wow.
So they did it, and took about, I'd probably say, when the cast got off, about 4 months to start getting some noticeable strength back into it.
Right.
It's still, much like any injury you probably had, it's still not as strong, I don't think.
Yeah.
But, I'm still able to bench 365 and trying to do what I can and push a stone off, and so it's a doozy.
Yeah, and right arm too. That sucks. What were you able to do while you were recovering? I mean, was it all just squats? And
a lot of legs. I did a lot of light stuff. I had my fingers because of the hard cast, so I was able to put a 10-pound weight in there and reps to 1,000. I mean, it was just kind of get it where I could get in and try to come off the season and see where I was at for the next season. Still wasn't there at the beginning of the season, but I was able to hop into a couple games, the Brentfest games over there in Michigan.
Frank's games, yeah.
Love those games. Mm-hmm. So I was able to hop in a couple of those and, get to see the guys, Doug and all the boys again, Parker. Yeah. So it's working. I got my first full season here. Just came off of Alma.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Good. My throwing wasn't where I wanted, but the whole festival was great.
Who ran it now that Holly's gone?
Well, her brother, Matt.
Okay, good.
Matt's running it now.
And the family.
Yeah. And it was really nice because obviously the Holly situation was very sad up there.
Did they do anything for her?
We had a moment of silence. The shirts have Holly written on it.
Awesome.
Matt was pretty cool, I thought. He said, Holly's here. And I was kind of, what do you mean Holly's here?
Yeah.
He had a little vase.
No shit.
Oh, I thought it was so awesome. Her boy showed up, he's always there at every game.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I got to see him. He's grown like a weed.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad showed up, which was nice talking to them again.
Her mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah, jeez. God, I haven't seen Bruce in 20 years.
Well, they came in and they were very nice. They sat and talked to all of us.
Yeah.
Her mom especially with me, and it was a real nice thing they did. I don't know if the game will ever be the same, but it was fun time, and Holly was truly missed.
Holly was one of those athletic directors, and just like we were talking about Alex, who she was a true pro. She kind of grew up around us, so she didn't take any shit, and she was never offended by anything, and you could fuck with her, and she would just roll with it, but she wouldn't let you get away with anything either. Towards the end of our career, we would screw around. We were always trying to throw that game, so we would throw well enough a whole day, and then we would try to throw the events in the evening, so whoever won, quote unquote, would have to stay for that extra 2 or 3 hours to get their trophy. So that became the screw job at the end of that games, and she would always yell at us about that because we were trying to throw it, and
Yeah, Chris got stuck there this year.
Chafin?
Yeah, for the Masters, so we had to wait for him for about an hour.
Overfelt and Craig weren't up there, were they?
No, it was just Doug and Chris today. This year.
Chris. Doug has got to be 50.
Both 51.
Chafin's 51 now.
That's what he told me. Wow. Don't look it.
No, I mean, I didn't realize I guess I didn't realize he was that much older than I am. But will he be in Ohio this year?
Yeah, they're both coming up. I know Doug's got a.
Doug will never retire.
No, I think we're gonna be pushing him in a wheelchair in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But he's just happy when his body stays together. And I was talking to him on the way home because we ride up, me, Chris, and Doug. We ride up every year to not only Alma but to the Renfest games, and we could kind of know each other. So we just. Yeah. So Doug was he was telling me he was just happy he's all put together. He had that rotator surgery a little while back, so he said his arm didn't fall off, and he was happy.
Hey, more power to him, man. There's no way I could still be throwing that stuff now. My body was just wrecked by, I tried to make a comeback as a master, and just, the horsepower and the technique are still there, and they just rip you to shreds, I think the better technically you are, the worse it is on your body, because it's just like you hit positions that your body just can't handle. And how old a man are you?
Let's see. I just had a birthday here. 36.
Don't think too hard.
Oh, I tell you. I started when I was like 27 in the game. In my mind, I still think I'm there.
Yeah.
But man, I wake up in the morning, my shoulders, my back, knees, they're screaming like they're 80 years old.
How'd you get into this to begin with?
Okay. How did I start in the Highland Games? So I started, I was a track and field guy at Mount Union.
Oh, okay.
So I went there in the early 2000s, and I was actually a high jumper.
Wow.
You got to remember, that was like 70 pounds ago.
Right, right.
So
you're what are you, 6'4"?
I was 6'4", I'm about 240 now.
Okay.
So I was about 170 at the time.
Yeah.
Jumped out there, got to watch all the shot guys. In fact, Brody, I went to school with.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So it's kind of nice when I saw you had him on here. I listened to the podcast. It was pretty cool. And so I went out. Then after college, I moved to Arizona. And then I got in with a couple strongmen and some powerlifters, and just kind of doing that for years. Just wanted to be strong, wanted to be, superior than most people. Right. So as much like anybody in their mid-20s. And I did a local strongman, and I won. And a guy at my gym watched me. His name was Sean Baker.
Is that the carnivore
guy? Yeah,
the
all me guy.
Yeah.
He lived right down the road from me. Went to the same gym and everything. He told me he had all these implements. Goes, why don't you come out and try it? I think it's up your alley. So here I was, I was 215 pounds, trying to be a strong man, which is almost impossible when you're that small. So I said, okay, might as well give it a gander. So I went out there, and I threw, my first time grabbing implements, and he saw a spark in my eye, and he saw I did pretty well throwing. So he's like, yeah, I think you're going to get stuck doing this, man.
Yeah.
So we trained together pretty well for about 6 months before I did my first game back in, what was that year, 2010? Yeah, geez, it's been that long now. And guys kind of clicked, caught the bug, much like you probably when you were younger.
Sure, yeah.
And next thing I know, for the next 3, 4, 5 years, I was watching video every day and just trying to become better and better every day. And, I was just thinking of the story on the way over here, every year just picking one person and just hating them to death. And I remember one year it was Shane Sutherland. I was just like, I got better numbers than him. He's ranked higher. No. I hate you.
Yeah.
And I would just do my best to beat him in the rankings.
Yeah.
And that's when you're on NASGA every weekend
Right.
trying to look at it.
Yeah.
So, okay, if I just improve my number here, this will bump me up 2 more spots.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it, caught the bug. And, it just, over the time, you make these friends, much like, these young guys. We're all best buddies now. And just got stuck with it and just love it to death. And I love meeting up with the guys. And
you made a couple of amateur world championships too?
I made, how many times I end up in Minnesota? I think 4 times.
Okay. Is it always in Minnesota? Is that how that works? That's
Yeah.
IHGF, right?
No, that one, the ISGF, isn't that the one that Francis did in Dana Point? There's so many national,
I know.
so many nationals and worlds. If you ask any of the younger guys, the worlds for us, especially when it was amateurs, was Minnesota.
Right.
Anyone that's going to help you get a plane ticket and get out there, that was the games everyone wanted
Sure,
to be at.
and that's what I've always said, that a world championships is decided by the athletes, not by the promoters.
You're 100% right.
You put the money. When we had women's worlds here at our Highlander, it had been in Arizona for years, and I just said, well, we're gonna have women's worlds this year, and I put 10 grand up, and the girls all showed up. So it was. Guess what? It's worlds.
They really is what it is.
Yeah.
They decide who the world's going to be. I remember for years going against. I'm trying to think who was the top guy. The Burchetts and the Cass of the world and Kahanics and Parkers, and just going against them every year and just I'm gonna beat these guys one day.
Yeah.
But like I said, they all become your friends, and
Right.
you look forward to seeing them in Pleasanton, or you see them in Minnesota or North South.
Yep.
So it became fun.
Did North South a few times too?
Did North South twice.
Yeah.
Lost to those horrible Brady boys one time, the Miller boys. And they're awesome. Yeah. And then we won the following year. Okay. I think that was 2016 is when we won. So got my name on the trophy. I'm happy about it. So.
Yeah, we sponsored the North team this year. I think they just barely lost it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we were sponsored for North team, and then Haight and Throw Bros were the sponsors for South team. So.
They would.
Yeah,
Beach.
Those deep South people. So what do you got on the agenda this year? What's your schedule look like?
Let's see here. Alma was last week. I go on a vacation.
Where's your place at Alma?
I don't want to talk about that. Not last, but pretty couple up from there.
Yeah. Just recovering.
Exactly. Yeah. I got 2 weeks this weekend. The next weekend I go on vacation, so minimal training there. I got Chicago the following week.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that one. I've never done it before.
They used to, and I don't know how. When we were there, it was an open class. It wasn't a pro class. So they would have amateurs and pros thrown together, but they would only pay, I think, the top 10 spots. So, we had to fight our way through it. They would always bring in these really good college shot putters. So we would all start off in the basement. Almost all pros would be in the basement. Then we'd have to climb our way back.
That sounds like every game of my life.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But it was always a nice games. You should check out some of the Canadian games that are up there. Good money. And...
I would, but I have the Spencer Tyler disease. Canada, we're working our way through that.
You like your firewater.
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's
yeah.
such a scam that
it is.
Do that.
I've been working on it now for 6 months now. And
what do you have to do?
Just a bunch of paperwork.
Yeah.
And they got to review it. I've been to the border 4 times, clearing things up. It's a process.
You have to actually go to the border?
I have, because I had to get in. The company I work for is actually a Canadian company. So they keep trying to get me in there to do, got to do workshops, got to do this and that. And I get to the border to try getting through, and they say nope.
Wow.
I got a bullseye on me.
That's brutal, man.
It's a process. But I talk to the border guys. They say it's just a process, and they see 100 and 200 me a day.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's really what it is. So
I bet you a lot of people don't even know that they can't cross the border with you.
they don't.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been asked probably about 30 times since people found out. Would I be able to get in?
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know the situation. So
Yeah.
I tried. I've heard a lot of good things about Georgetown.
Georgetown's great, man. That was one of my all-time favorite games. When Warren Trask ran it, and now Jennifer's running it, and she knows her shit, so I'm sure that game's running smooth.
Jennifer's great.
They used to have Georgetown, and they would have Uxbridge and Coburg and Chatham and Fergus. I mean, there'd be like 10 games in Ontario you could go to.
Oh, yeah. Coburg's still around. They're still doing it.
Was another one. I don't know if they still do Kincardine. Kincardine was cool. You have to go through Port Huron, Michigan, and then all the way up. It's right up on Lake Huron.
I haven't heard of that game.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
Throw it right on the beach. It's really nice. But that was a Warren Trask run games up there, and money was real good. And
I heard the money's good up there.
What's also nice about it is, especially when it's the games, and I don't know how Jennifer runs it, but when Warren runs the games, by the time your last weight for height hits the ground, he's walking out of the tent with your money. He does that on purpose. So he watches you, okay? All right, he missed. Here's your money. And then you can just get the hell out of there. Which, people don't understand that you guys do this every single weekend. And it's a festival for these people that do it once a year, but for us, it was like, we got to get home, man. We got stuff to do, and we got to do this again next week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really is. By the time I'm done with the game, I'm already packing up the box, ready to go and get in the car because I'm going to get home. I've been away from my daughter for a couple days now. And
they always want you to have shots.
Oh.
It's like, Jesus, I can't drink your scotch and then drive home 3 hours,
I want to be allowed back in Canada.
Right, yeah. We're working a program. Yeah.
And that's what it always is. And sometimes I got fortunate, going back to Holly, being with her in the beer garden a couple times, drinking, especially when you won the cup for the day.
Yes.
So that cup never gets empty.
Yep.
But yeah, most games now, especially with the family, it's get it done, socialize. Make sure make your rounds. Obviously, say goodbye to everybody, and you got to go to the next one.
Yeah.
So it's
So
exhausting.
you got Chicago and then Ohio.
Then Ohio, I'll always look forward to Ohio game. That's kind of my hometown game. My family gets to come see me, so family and friends finally get to see all the weird stuff I do on Facebook and Instagram, and it's kind of the game I enjoy being at. And I'm signed up for a couple other ones here and there. I'm on the wish list. Then I got the Renfest games.
Right, those are in August and September. Right?
Yeah, I just saw the email or something on that just on the drive-in. But Frank put the great game on.
Yeah.
You've been there.
Yep.
It's such an entertaining game. You're throwing on wood chips and you're throwing in front of crowd, and Frank's pulling out the lamest jokes in the world to get people laughing.
Same jokes every year.
Oh, it's every year. I've heard those jokes. Let's see now. I've been there six times now.
Right.
And they never stop being funny.
Yeah.
I'm always the foe of the game because I got a Ohio State tattoo on my arm, so I'm always picked up at those Michigan games and. University of Michigan.
Yeah, he used to do that to me too, and I was always like, I don't care. I don't care about Ohio State. I don't care about any of this stuff. And he'd always bust my balls, but I didn't mind playing the villain anyhow. So that was
exactly
par for the course.
I forgot the wrestling name for it, but
heel.
I'm the heel of every game, so which makes me
Yeah, it's fun, So what'd you do? You just kind of get your name on the waiting list for bunch of games and just waiting to hear. Yeah, that was the most. When I turned pro, Jim Pauly told me, he goes, just put your name on every list, and no matter what kind of notice they give you, just show up.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can remember driving into Canada. They would call me the night before so and so got hurt. I'd be like, all right, here I go. So I would load up my truck and be driving up to Canada the next morning.
That's what I did a lot with. Beaufait told me the same thing. Just sign up and just wait. You don't know what's going to happen. And I remember like 2 or 3 weeks before Alma was my first pro game, and I remember I took the weekend off work. I was just like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And then I think Parker or Holly got a hold of me, said, someone dropped out. I'm already signed up. I'm there.
Yeah.
And I had plans of getting up there, and I did that for 2 or 3 games my first year.
Yeah.
And, it got me in. And
yeah, for young amateurs, they're always worried about, well, I'm not going to be able to get in any games. Just do it that way. Put your name on the dotted line, wait, and just prepare like you're getting ready for that games. And you'll get into a lot of games because inevitably someone drops at every games.
Injuries are no...
they drop at the Celtic Classic when there's thousands of dollars on the line.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. Who dropped that one year? I think Gilly went. Someone dropped down.
Yeah, Gilly showed up last minute.
Yep.
He had to, drive.
Oh.
That was something happened. There was a storm or something, and
oh yeah,
they couldn't get the planes in or something. So he just
drove all the way from Fort Wayne all the way to Bethlehem, and just I think it's 11 hours or something.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
As chubby as Gillingham, he should have rode his bike. He would have been in better shape by the time he got there.
He would have came in with a 6-pack.
Right. Yeah, that was always such a good way to end the seasons with the Celtic Classic. Jane always treated us like kings when we would go there, and she's another one of these broads that have been around the sport forever, and they're fun, man. I can't wait. I was telling you I'm getting HMAC and Alex on the show after the Ohio games. I'm going to get a couple cocktails in them, and we're going to come in here and do a little podcast in, and we'll see what kind of slips they make, and see if we can get opinions on people. It's going to be great.
Oh, man, those two. They're absolutely a blast to be at the games with.
Yeah.
I remember, what was it, Central Virginia. Afterwards, all the pros went out, and those two came along with some other people, and we just drinking and just having a good time. And they're as much as they drink, they start becoming more and more speaking like a sailor as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like, oh my God, I think this girl can kick my ass.
Alex is an instigator too. We were in Virginia, and she was fucking with Jeremy Futrell. She had Aaron George on the line from Throw Bros, and so she was pretending like Aaron didn't know who Jeremy was, So she's like, he doesn't know who you are. And he's like, I buy his stuff all the time. She's like, he doesn't remember you. So he denounced Throw Bros at the bar and everything, and it was pretty good. Yeah, it was great. She was just busting his balls the whole time. No. Yeah, we were down. You guys threw on at Central Virginia on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
You threw the pros and the women threw on Sunday last year.
Oh, they did.
It's the same games I'm thinking of.
Richmond, right outside the raceway.
No, that was the one.
You thinking VSG?
VSG is what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Well, I didn't know they still did Richmond.
They did as of 16, 17.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah, they did, because Erkdart did it a couple years ago, a year ago. But that's a great game. I mean, in the background, every picture is that Richmond Raceway.
Right. The thing about Richmond that sucked for us is for some reason every year we did it, it was like the worst weather you could possibly imagine.
Late October.
So we would go down there and it would be freezing cold, driving rain. I remember one year somebody had a rental car and we pulled the rental car right up onto the field and just turned the heater on. So we would get out and throw, jump right back in, put our hands over the heater, and it was brutal.
I never had to worry about that in Arizona.
Right. That's not something that's going to show up often.
First game was in February.
Yeah.
In L.A., which is pretty a fun game.
Yeah, you notice that even with track and field, that their season's done before ours even really gets rolling here.
I remember the first game of outdoor, it'd always be Muskingum, and we'd be sitting there, and I had damn near overalls on trying to stay warm. Strip it all off, go jump, put it all back on, jump around to your next time.
So what year did you graduate college?
05.
05, okay.
I know it's old, you gotta count back.
And Rhodey was with you there, huh?
Yeah, he did, I think he was 2 years behind me.
What a story that dude was, because he was just, not to say mediocre, but he was he was a decent shot putter in college, and then goes off to train with Bondarchuk up in Canada and just blows up.
Well, I remember there was a guy who was a good shot. He was a mid-50s thrower before Rhodey showed up. And when Rhodey came in, everyone told me, I'm thinking in this chair.
Yes, you are.
Got really small. They all told me, this kid's going to be real good. Just keep your eye on him. And I think he was throwing late 40s. maybe maybe an early 50.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you just saw him every year get better and better. I think he ended up being in the mid-50s by the time he got done, but he was nowhere compared to what he's doing when he was back up in Canada.
Right, yeah.
Like, he's just a phenomenal thrower. So
he actually worked with my son a little bit this year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I see he's doing.
Like, stand up. And
I know,
his,
man.
His chair is, I don't know.
Sinking.
That's what you get when you get Highland Games athletes in here. They just have your chair sink all the way to the ground.
Gillian must have busted it.
Yeah, he's a giant. But yeah, my son went out and worked with him. And indoors. It was real interesting. Had some real different cues for him that he hadn't heard before. So a lot of it I think stuck with him. And he's just texted me maybe a week ago and wants to start working with Highland Games athletes too. So we're gonna collaborate a little bit, I think. And I said I'd help him out any way you can. I mean, if you're gonna learn to throw the stone, I don't think there's much better around here to teach you.
Oh no. He was doing somebody. I met him at Worlds, some Canadian, and my name just slips me for a second. But he did his whole weightlifting program and everything.
I think he's on his Instagram page. There's some stuff with him on there.
Yeah. So when I was talking to him about Worlds, and we were just talking, and I told him I was from Ohio originally. He goes, "Oh, do you know Steve Rohde?" It's the first time I heard the name, and I'm like, "Yeah, I went to college with him." And he was telling me, "Oh, he does my workout program. He's helping me out."
Yeah.
I said, "Awesome, man."
He's got something going there, and he's it's a hard thing to sell kids because it's such a specialty event. Because I worked with throwers for a year. We've got a kid here now who works with throwers, and he does my son works with him. He does all the technique work. I try to stay away from my son's technique. I don't want to be dad and coach.
My father, he was a football coach, so
it's tough, man.
I put him through hell.
Yeah.
I couldn't listen to him, and I wish I would have now, but
I'm there for
arm
questions.
Arm distance, Dad.
If you have questions, we're at the meet, you have a problem, I'll help you out. But I don't want to be the guy every day telling you to take 6 more standing throws because you're screwing up. And I don't have the patience. I'm just not as patient as I used to be dealing with kids. And to be honest with you, as far as a thrower, I think the kid is way more talented than I was. I mean, he's got the body movement and awareness, and he just needs more reps is all, and he'll be fine. But my spin never looked as pretty as my son's spin did.
Spin's horrible.
It's tough. I was watching you glide here on YouTube.
Yeah, you pulled up some old videos.
I got this.
It's not gotten any better over the years. Let me tell you.
I found your YouTube page, so I was pulling up some old glide stuff.
That wasn't too long ago. That's Ohio, so I mean that was at least a couple of years.
Were you throwing in front of an Indian burial mound or something?
It's Alliance, Ohio.
Yeah.
I find wherever I can find grass.
So how far are you from here? How far is Alliance?
Hour and 20.
Okay.
I work all through Detroit and Cleveland and Pittsburgh, so I'm all always so.
If you ever come through here, stop at the gym. You want to catch a workout or whatever?
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I might not be here. I kind of live a phony baloney existence. So I'm here sometimes. I'm here not. I'm doing jujitsu. I'm
That's pretty amazing. I've been listening to the podcast and hearing about that. That's pretty cool.
It's so when we were signed up to do the Dunedin Highland Games, and I started actually looking at Sean Baker's stuff with the carnivore diet because I was having some digestive issues and I was trying to figure it out. And I did like a 24-hour fast right before Christmas, and then I said, I'm going to try the carnivore diet for the first month of the year. Started dropping weight like crazy, and it was good solid weight, but my lifts were real good, so I went from 255 down to 218 in like 2 months. And in that time period, I talked to a guy who I've had on the podcast before, Paul Jordan. I said, hey, I'm doing this training now. I think it'd be really good for grapplers. And he was kind of like, why don't you just come out to the gym and try this out? One class, and I left that class with, I swore I had cauliflower ears already. They were rubbing my ears, and my lips were all bleeding and stuff. And because I walked in the gym, and I think I walked into this more advanced class in the evening full of blue belts and purple belts. We're going to fuck this guy up.
They saw you at the target.
Saw me as a target, and they couldn't wait to get on me. And but I loved it. I ended up being like, okay, well, if I get dominated this badly, this is something I have to learn. So
That's
It's
awesome.
been a fun challenge, and I'm kind of addicted to it now, just like I was throwing. And the thing of it is there's so much technique involved
Oh yeah.
that it mimics this
If not,
so much.
if
'Cause
not times 10.
well, there's a lot to learn, but they're both just so technical.
Yeah.
And you'll sit there and watch and watch and watch and watch videos. What's nice is that you guys have YouTube when you were coming up to learn a lot of this stuff.
That
from.
blessed us. I mean, the hours I sat and watched Vincent,
Yeah, right.
Vieira, I mean, anybody I could who
Yeah.
threw plus 50 and anything, I was watching their videos over and over again, just trying to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I still own it. I think Sean Baker gave it to me, was the first Vieira video.
The VP Productions ones.
Oh, yeah.
The yoga music in the back.
Oh, grainy video to where it's...
He used to get pissed because people would make fun of the music in it. He's like, "You're supposed to be visualizing," you know. But yeah, that's all we had was those grainy videos.
And he hit rewind and just watching hit rewind, watch his foot, hit rewind, watch his hip.
And not everybody in there was a good technical model. You'd have nothing. I mean, nothing to say badly about anyone. Like Harry McDonald was an 85-foot, 28-pound weight thrower, but you don't want to mimic his technique because he was basically just. He was as wide as he was tall. He was super fucking strong. He had really short arms, and he would foul 2 out of 3 throws every time. You know.
Just get one off.
He'd get one off, and a lot of times it was a gimme. You know, the ref would be like, eh.
Let's get him on the board.
Yeah, and but he was on there, so you had to kind of, I got to a point where I would like know who was coming. I would fast forward through that one so it wouldn't get in my head.
Yep.
You know?
I learned that a while ago. Someone, I can't remember who told me, was, watch people who have your body shape.
Yes,
watch people. Right. No offense to Matt when he was about to become a pro. Him and I are complete opposite.
Absolutely.
He was short, stocky. I'm long and tall. So I started watching a lot of, what's his name out there in the middle, the doctor? Chad Gustin.
Oh, Gustin, yeah.
Yep. So I started watching a lot of his stuff, and, I just try to get a body type that matched mine in a way. And because, like I said, you look at Andy Vincent right now.
Right.
That guy can push press probably a car.
Yeah. Super strong dude.
Oh, yeah. Great guy.
Yep.
And if you're listening, I'm talking good about you.
Yeah.
But just, I can't mimic what he does.
Yeah.
So why not get somebody who's about my strength, who throws well? And that's how I kind of, so it got me away from, 80% of the guys who were throwing, oh, you should watch my video. This shows you better. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's a reasonable way to look at it. You definitely want to pick, because I get people who want to do, because I always threw with the Sanford technique with the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get these super short, squatty guys. And not that I'm tall, but it's not going to work for them, especially for these girls that are short, because the hammer hits the ground every time with that high wind.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to, you have to kind of figure out what's going to work best for your body. And Chad Gustin was one of those guys where I think God just looked down from the clouds and said, okay, this guy's going to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great athlete. He's a fucking doctor. He's good looking. It's like, what the hell, man?
I
bit of that?
I was attracted to him.
Yeah, he's super hot. Easy on you. I threw with him 1 year. I only met him once, and it was at Celtic Classic, and he qualified. And I think he had qualified previously, but he always had his schedule. He's a doctor.
Probably saving lives.
About the money,
Probably saving lives or something.
He was saving lives. So he showed up 1 year, and we had a ball at Celtic with him, and he was super fun. But yeah, he was one of those guys that does he still throw?
I haven't heard of him, and I threw with him. He was a pro, and I threw with the pros 1 year in Tucson. It was probably the second or third year I was in.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of his last seasons.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen anything from him in a while. But, like I said, he was just kind of the guy I watched and helped me. Like, oh, man, it's being so long and tall.
Yeah.
So.
What does a week look like for you when you're training? I mean, how often are you throwing? How often are you lifting?
Not as much as you want to, of course. You probably have to say by that.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, I probably get in the gym probably about 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
I obviously hit the main 3 and try to get some type of explosion with either clean snatches or something. I got a nice setup in my garage, so I'm one of those garage lifters.
I was too, my entire career.
Yeah.
20 by 20 garage with no heat, no air conditioning, holes in the roof. It was the best workouts I ever had in my life. Yeah.
It's tough in the winter, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I got a heater, a really good heater, and it's just it'll kick up about 20, 30 degrees, and I guess that's all you need to get that freeze off the bar.
Right. Yeah, I would go over and put my hands in front of the heater and then go back to the bar and lift. And
oh yeah.
But yeah, they were great workouts. And at the time, I was like, dealing with this broken marriage, so I would just like go out there for hours and train. It was like the best thing that could happen to my throwing, because all of a sudden I'm getting more and more lifting in.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there's guys like I was talking to somebody the other day, and you had guys like Craig Smith who he lifted once, maybe twice a week if he was super motivated, and he never threw, never practiced, and he was super strong and threw really far, and he just it doesn't matter,
My first pro game, he came out after one of his million injuries he has.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's I've been throwing an implement, year, blah blah blah. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, okay, maybe I can sneak around him. Be my first game.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be motivating for me. Oh, it just demolished me.
Good luck.
Oh man, just came out, just threw 40 foot and easy with the weight.
Yeah.
And, he did like 42.
He would get done with the season. We would get done with Richmond, and I shit you not, there were seasons where he would just throw his bag in the car. I remember one year. I was telling you Richmond how disgusting it was. Wet.
Oh yeah.
Right? So one year, we dropped him off in this parking lot. He threw his bag in the trunk, and we went our separate ways. You're sick kidding. So then I drive down to his house, and in May, the next year we're going down to Maryland for a games. He never got his bag out. Kilt stinks, it's all moldy and shit. Yeah, he never touched that bag the whole off season.
I've got to stink the trunk up.
Yeah, you'd think. I think he got rid of that kilt and grabbed a different one. But yeah, that's the way he rolled, and he was always when he was motivated to throw, he would just throw far. It didn't matter how much training he was doing.
He's got. I always said he had a technique and everything that just was either given to him or he had it inbred.
Super athletic.
And he, like I said, like we just said, he can go off not practicing for 6-7 months.
Yeah.
Step inside of a trig and pop it off like he's been working on something.
We're gonna get him back on the show. I just talked to him. I checked in with him a couple days ago because of that tornado that hit Dayton. I just said, "Hey, are you alive?" And he's like, "Yeah, we made it through the night." And,
good.
We're gonna. I'm probably gonna head down there in June or July and see about getting him back on the show and just talking about. For a while there, he was doing lacrosse, and I think he threw last year at a couple games. He threw at Alma, I think, last year, didn't he?
I wasn't at Alma last year.
Okay, I think.
You know what? I think he was. I think I saw him.
I think him, Carrie, and Chafin all threw up there last year.
Because why weren't they there? Carrie had something with his knee or had an injury.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And then I forgot who said it, but someone said Craig wasn't going to go because his boyfriend wasn't there.
Oh yeah, they definitely. The only way you would ever get like one of us to come out of retirement is if you get one of the other ones to go with us. We weren't going to do it by ourselves.
Which one I had all the videos and everything I see over the years between you and Carrie and all you guys, just entertaining. I mean,
we had a lot of fun, and it was Chafin too. All four of us needed the money. So it was cutthroat, but I think we thrived in that environment where we were trying to screw each other over and just having a good time with it. And there were so many beer tents and after parties, and it was nuts. And whenever I have Carrie on the show, we'll get on before the show and say, "What are we going to talk about?" It's like all the good shit you can't talk about because we'll get somebody divorced or we'll get somebody in trouble, and I wish there was a time when we could tell all the really good stories and because they're outrageous. They're out. Most of them involve Chafin, so doing something ridiculous. But maybe one of these days we'll be able to tell those stories and.
Give it a few more years.
Yeah, some will have to die off. When somebody dies, one of us dies, the other ones will be able to tell the stories.
I think that's what it's going to end up being. 20 years from now, chafing goes down, you can finally tell the stories.
Right. Then we can start telling those stories. Exactly.
Which my dad, I want to hear them.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Let me know.
That'll be a big exclusive podcast. We'll advertise that coming and going.
It'll be like a pay-per-view kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll pay $100 to hear all those stories.
Pay-per-view. Yeah, that'd be good. So you're training a couple days a week. Are you getting thrown in too?
I do. I'm fortunate I got a park down the street from me that no one ever uses, and they don't mind some big holes missing every once in a while. So I get out there about once to twice a week. I realized over the years, because I was at a point, especially out in Arizona, throwing 3 times a week all year round, because you can in January out there, to where it really started hurting. I mean, I started feeling it come, March and April when the season's getting going. And man, my knee hurts, my hip hurts. Why am I throwing so much? Mm-hmm. So I realized that once to twice a week is pretty much what I'm doing. Hit the major events, your heavy weights, get some wobber, some technique in. So I've been doing that, and it's been working out pretty well for me. I do need to step it up a little bit, but 2 times, especially with the little girl, she's taking up a lot of my time now.
So single dad, or are you remarried?
No, I am remarried. I have my beautiful wife, because I'm sure she'll listen to this. She's her and I live down there, and I have one little girl. She's, how old is she now? 3, and she's basically the best thing in the world. I realized that when I got had her, I said, man, I should have had 10 of these.
Right.
So
see, I went the exact opposite. I had one. I'm like, man, this is plenty. I'm good with.
Oh, I'm very happy with one.
Yeah.
In fact, I had Steins take care of the.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very happy with her, and like I said, she's just awesome to hang around with. She comes out in the gym and works out with me, and she picks up her little 5-pound weights, and she'll sit out next to the deadlift bar and try to pull it up like I am. So it's cute.
Yeah.
She's. Hopefully in a few years, she's going to be blessed with some height and some size. So,
mom tall too, or
mom's tall. She's about 5'10", 5'9", volleyball player. So,
how'd you meet her?
I met her in college, actually.
Okay.
We dated a little bit in college and kind of went off our own ways. I moved to Arizona. She moved to Florida, and just remained friends. Both married and then divorced, and always just remained talking. And kind of came around, just said, hey, you know what? Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
She come out for a week, and
so keep that ace in the hole. I'm just gonna keep her in the background, just in case,
No, sweetie, not at all. But we end up living out in Arizona for a year, and she made sure that she found her way back here with me, and had me dragged all the way back to Alliance, and that's where we got home.
Why not go to Florida instead? Shit.
I don't like bugs or snakes or spiders or whatever the heck comes out at night down there.
All sorts of shit down there.
I mean, I dealt with like coyotes and warthogs out there. That's all I had to deal with in Arizona.
Where's she from in Florida?
Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Orlando's nuts.
Yeah. She grew up out in where I live.
Oh, okay.
And she moved down there.
Oh.
So she wanted to come home, and I have my family in Arizona. The other half was in Ohio. So I said, well, you know what? Anywhere I go, I'm gonna have family.
Sure.
So my mom really enjoys being close to my daughter.
Yeah.
So she's down quite often, and so are her parents. So
it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, Orlando's definitely a nutty place to go. We were down there two winters ago, and I was afraid to leave the resort. The drive it was so insane down there.
Mm-hmm. It's like L.A. and New York.
Yes. Yeah.
Horrible.
And I think a lot of them are from the Caribbean and don't necessarily have driver's license, and they drive like they're in Nassau. It's crazy. People are cutting you off left and right. It was sketchy, to say the least.
I've been down some of those back roads out there, and it's. And now I get where all those Florida man stories come from.
Yeah.
It's kind of the place that would come from.
Spooky, swamp infested. I get into Carl Hyson. He's an author who writes about South Florida and the South Florida mystery, but they're hilarious, and it's all stuff that he bases it on. Is all stuff he takes out of the Miami Herald of all these fucking crazy people down in Florida, and their wacky schemes and coming from countries you've never heard of.
Florida man stories are awesome.
Yeah.
I heard one the other day. Our guy butt naked climbed a light pole and was pooping on cars they drove on. I don't even know how they come up with this.
So I'll have to tell you off air, but we had a guy in the Highland Games circuit who used to do that to people.
You leave Chafin out of this.
No, shit. Even Chafin wasn't that gross. Yeah, Florida fuckery for sure. Yeah,
Oh,
so
jeez.
we just had Matt and Lee Lilla on the podcast who are from Clearwater, Florida. And
Okay.
they've got a ton of stories of those people down there, just wild and wackiness. But we're moving right down there, so we couple more years here, and then we're heading down that way.
You're gonna get out of here, huh?
We're gone. We're
Leave the beautiful Northeast Ohio.
done. I'm done. I've always had some kind of regulator why I couldn't go. You know, a job or someone didn't want me to leave or whatever. But my wife and I are both like, we're out of here. As soon as the kid graduates, we're gone. If he wants to go earlier, we'll go earlier.
What part are you looking at?
We're looking at St. Pete Beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So we're gonna head down there and probably open a smaller version of this down there and keep doing the podcast. And
Well, you got a lot of people then.
yeah, we'll find people in Florida to talk to, just like we found people in Ohio. Is great for the podcast. Between Strongman and Highland Games, and then just like there's so many colleges with professors, so we do all the different topics, but there's always somebody to talk to. I mean, my summer is completely booked. Every week I've got one or two podcasts scheduled. So
Jeez.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's kind of nice. You could go to some of these games and festivals, and Arnold right down there. I was listening to a lot what you had over the Arnold.
Yeah.
You know, you catch World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
You catch a lot of the Highland Game guys. I mean, you catch top benchers and deadlifters
Yep.
down there.
Well,
So
one year I just reached out to Magnus for Magnus, and I knew he was going to be in town, and said, "Hey, would you want to do the podcast?" Yep, no problem. Let's do it.
I started listening to that one.
It's good. I met him when I was over there for Masters Worlds, and I fucked with him a little bit. I tried to bribe him because he was our judge, and
yeah.
everything. So he kind of remembered me, and I had heard nothing but oh yeah, he's gonna no show you, or he's gonna be a dick, or
Really?
couldn't have been nicer. Couldn't have been a nicer guy.
I heard he's a real nice guy.
But I've heard that for a couple people. I've had different people on the podcast, and when I tell somebody, I'll get all these stories about how they're going to be horrible. I haven't met a dick yet, I mean,
Yeah.
everyone has been super cool. I think if you're willing to come here and sit down and talk about your life, very rarely you're going to find somebody who's an absolute jerk. So
I was happy you invited me.
it's fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're just sitting here bullshitting. There's nothing to it. People get nervous. Especially you get girls in here that just who freaked out the worst was Sean Urquhart. Flat out tells me I'm not entertaining. It's not going to be good.
I like his one line he comes to every Highland Games with. He's, I'm just here to make you guys look good. I'll be here in the background.
I'm super psyched that he's bringing his stones to Ohio this year. That's
He
gonna be
did. I
fun.
tell you what, he's been calling me up, and we talk about it once every couple of weeks. We're pretty good friends with him, and he's just excited about it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so excited. He's talking about lifting these stones, the Ohio OSG, and he's a nerd about it.
Yeah.
Loves it. So good for him.
Yeah, it should be cool. I talked a bunch of I spread it around the gym here. Some of the young bucks. I said, man, you gotta go out and do this, and I'm sure someone will show up to do it. And
Ryan Stewart's doing.
he looks like he's having a blast.
Oh, I mean, where was he over in like Sweden or something?
Yeah, Sweden, and before that was Scotland. And
What pressure? Because I was going to ask you about that, about Ireland, or not Ireland, Iceland. And what pressure? You fly all the way out there, you drive into some remote podunk hill in the middle of nowhere, and you're lifting the stone that is known for people not to get it. And what pressure? I got to lift this thing.
when I went, I decided to do Masters Worlds, and I was talking to Matt Vincent for some reason. He just mentioned that he was going to be in Iceland at that same time, and he didn't even know Masters Worlds was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Oh, I'm going to be there too at that same time." And he's like, so then he calls me and he's like, "Hey, we're doing a show. We want to go up to Husafell." He goes, "But I can't lift the Husafell stone because my knee's all fucked up. Would you want to do it?" So I was like, "Oh fuck,
Yeah.
Here's some pressure, and because if you're going to be the only guy lifting the stone, and if you screw it up and can't lift it, and it's not like you screw it up, it's a 420-pound stone.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a legitimate chance I'm not going to be able to lift this thing.
It's
So
huge.
I said, "Look," I said, "I don't know if I can lift it." I said, "My goal is going to be get it in my lap." He's like, "If you could just pick it up off the ground, that'll be good enough." I said, "All right." So I called I texted his brother because I knew his brother lifted. I said, "Hey, what do you think?" And he's like, "Oh, it's really tough and really heavy." And talked to Pulcinella, and he's like, I could never fucking do that stone, which is bullshit. I know he could have, when he was going, and I was able to walk with it for a little while, and but yeah.
You made a journey with it. I saw the video.
It's probably 70 feet or something, I mean, it wasn't crazy.
I get tired walking 70 feet.
It was, well, we had, I had been up for 36 hours straight. We flew up there, and when we got to Matt's B&B, Airbnb, and he was trying to corral this group of people he had going, producers and filmers, and he had the chick from Donuts and Deadlifts, and some other,
I don't know her name, but yeah,
ex-Marine Corps recon ninja guy with him, and they don't want to go, and he's trying to get them to go, and it was just a big clusterfuck, and finally we just go, let's just fucking go ourselves. So it was me and my wife, and him and his wife, and Brock and his wife, and we went up there, and it ended up being a good day, and I was able to pick it up and walk with it for a while, and it was a really cool experience, but there's something about lifting stones in places like that.
It was cool.
That every strong man in history who's worth their weight has put their hands on this stone. And before then, Vikings and farmers, and you just think about the history when you pick that thing up. It's amazing.
I went over to Scotland back in, what year was that? 2014 with the Team USA, which was pretty cool. And we got the day after we competed, we went out looking for stones, did the Stones of Strength, searching for them. So I got my hands on the Denny stones.
Tough.
Yeah, I got one up. Someone told me there was a little bit of sunshine underneath the big one, but I saw some photos. I think they were just blowing a little smoke up my ass. Then we did the Inverness stone, which that was kind of cool because, like you said, you see anybody who's worth anything in strongman who's got a chance to go over to Scotland has all picked up that stone.
It's like a 268 or something.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's just some form. It's like a heavy atlas with some form you need. The week I did the Denny stones, they weren't in front of that inn. They were in a park or a festival, and we were doing it off of wet grass and mud, and because who's that big deadlifter out in England?
Bolton.
Nope. Not Mac.
God, I don't know.
Well, he was the world's strongest man throughout the 90s.
Oh, Felix.
Yeah, Felix. He was in town, and he was doing it in front of a crowd. So, I mean, the day after he did it, myself and the team went over there and got to pick him up. And I think two guys actually got it up. One used straps. I don't count it.
Yeah. I don't mind when girls use straps.
Yeah,
but the guys.
I get that. But one did it without, and he was a big boy, so that was a lot of fun. But going back to the stones, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're on the other side of the world. You've come all this way.
You don't know when the next time you're going to be back is. Yep. You already put the investment to get out there and just to pick it up and take a video or a picture. So I encourage what Ryan Stewart's doing. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he is super into it. And that's another guy who's just got, and I understand it because I still love lifting stones, and I can't lift them. It was funny, we had a competition this weekend. A couple guys lifted the 405 stone, which was my best ever, was 405. And it was nice to see some other guys in the gym get that stone, because before it was just me and Sean Shoemaker from Youngstown. And I know that my goals now are not conducive to me lifting a 415, 430-pound Atlas stone, but I don't care. It's just the act of stone lifting is so much fun and so interesting. And then when you put it in scenarios like Iceland or in the forests of Scotland, I mean, it's just, it brings it to a whole different level. And there's just something way more fun about doing that than there is lifting a nice evenly weighted barbell in a nice perfect gym.
It's different.
Yeah.
And it definitely it pushes a lot of guys. I mean, like I said, we were talking earlier about Urquhart. Just loves it.
Yeah.
He's got a video every day of him picking up some new stone he found in a gutter somewhere.
I think as far as a workout, there's nothing better for you. I had a guy ask me a couple months ago, he said, if you could do one exercise for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I said, stone to shoulder. So it works your hamstrings off the floor, works your calves, works your lower back, works your abs while you're bracing, you're pulling it, you're exploding with your hips, you're driving it to your shoulder. I mean, what more do you want?
That's a lot of movement right there.
Right, yeah.
So that probably would be your best full body workout. Yeah, I probably would have to agree with that.
I'm a big fan of them for athletes too. And we have a lot of our athletes doing them at lighter weights, and it's the biggest bang for our buck for sure.
Oh yeah, except making them. I can only imagine.
I tried making them and it didn't work out very well at all. So I just started looking on. You'll find guys online who are much better at making them than they are at lifting them. So they'll make these giant stones that they can't lift. We had a guy here in Amherst, just down the street from here, puts on Facebook. He goes, I've got a 350-pound Atlas stone in my front yard. If anybody thinks they can lift it, they can have it because it's too big for me. I said, fuck it. So I ran over there and I was going to tacky up. I had tacky. I was going to just lift it in the back of my Jeep. And I got there, I looked at it and I go, that ain't 350. It looked like about 220. It's going to be like a 230 stone. So I just walked over, wiped it off with a towel. His kids are all watching from the couch in the living room, and I just popped it up. I didn't ring the doorbell. I just walked over, grabbed it, popped it up, put it in the back of my truck, and drove off. And they must have been amazed that I lifted this quote-unquote 350-pound stone. But, but a lot of people online just have stones that they can't lift, but they're always much better than the ones I make. So I just scan the Craigslist and look for them.
That's how I put my whole garage gym together.
Right,
Craigslist, and I travel so much, so... Hey, I'm going to Detroit today. Let's see what they got on Craigslist. Oh, man, I've been looking for a bar like that.
Yeah.
So, you get piece it together. It takes a little bit of time, but...
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
I do sales.
Okay.
I've done sales for about the last 10 years of my life. I started with a company when I first moved back was railroad derailments.
Oh, Jesus.
So I sold... I did a lot of work for the railroad, and then I recently went over to a company that does mast climbers, or the big scaffolding that goes up beside buildings. So I get to go to a lot of construction sites and talk with a lot of GCs about what their plans are and get up a project plan for them.
Right.
So it's good.
You get to travel a lot.
I get to travel. I get to see a lot of the country, and that was kind of fun with the derailment job as well. I'd be in Baltimore one day and New York the next.
What were you doing with derailments?
So I was a sales guy looking for additional work, additional jobs with them. That derailment that just happened over here in
I was
Boston?
just going to mention it.
Yeah. My guys were all on that, but
Okay.
I don't work with them anymore. But yeah, I'd go there and I'd sell in, track work. I'd go and sell. You basically wait by the phone and wait for another derailment.
Wait for a train to go off.
And they happen a lot more than you think.
I was amazed when I heard this one happen. They said there's fresh produce everywhere.
Oh, yeah. They said it was an onion fire.
Right.
So I was actually calling my guy who was in charge of that railroad at one time. And I said, hey, I heard you missed the onion fire in 2019. He's laughing. He was getting a kick out of it.
I'm just glad it didn't do much more damage than it could have, because that train goes right through downtown Wellington down there. And
I got to see some stuff, some really gnarly stuff in some of these small town cities. Town be on fire, evacuated.
Right.
So you get to see some pretty crazy stuff. Unfortunately, a couple fatalities on a couple. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So it's a weird job. So.
Yeah, you never hear about, you never think about that. How the fuck do you derail a train? But, I don't know how that happens.
There's a whole bunch of different things you can do to really screw up a town.
Right.
One of them, I tell you.
Derail a train with toxic chemicals as you drive through it.
Yeah.
Or onions, either one.
Or I tell you what, onions would send me out of there a lot faster than sulfur.
Right? Yeah. My wife's like deathly does not do well with onions. So she's running out of there. So we're looking at the Renfest, and we're always. I'm guessing you're always looking at your Celtic rankings and seeing when we're at there.
Yeah.
I used to get in the top 12, and then just wait for people to avoid the drug test, and then you just jump up in there.
Well, the top 12 makes you the top 8 if they're going to be drug tested.
Right.
There's always a couple of bad boys in there, but and that's really what it is. You got to be in that top 12. You got to have good numbers. It's nice when I get to throw against some of those guys, and who did I throw with? Cass, I was just with him last week.
I don't think I've met him yet. That's one of the
good dude. Yeah. Good dude. He was talking about some of the numbers he's been throwing. He's gonna do pretty good this year, but much like the conversation, I think Spencer right now he's in a class all his own.
Yep.
He's just hitting every mark. He's just every weekend he's breaking some new world record.
Yeah.
I think he just broke Sheaf again.
Sheaf last week.
Yeah. So Which might have had a cool video. Did you see that?
Yeah, I sure
Someone
did.
threw him a beer.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. He's just, I mean, he hit every week. It's a new world record. It's like, man, this guy's, he's got his game on tight.
Best Highland Games couple ever. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's ever been a dual world championship married couple before. I know Shannon and Shannon Hartnett and Matt Sanford were dating, but they weren't married. So,
See, Joe was a top am, but he never was a pro with Adrian's husband.
right.
So,
And the Koskis were both real good, but Mike never won a Worlds. So,
how about the Burchetts, brother and sister? That might be
yeah,
close.
right.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, she's not a Burchett anymore. Did she get married?
She got married. I want to say 6 months ago, but it was probably like 2 years and 6 months ago.
I always get confused when these broads change their names on Facebook because I can't figure out. Wait a minute, that looks like a Burchett. I'm like, what? Oh, she must have got married.
They gotta start putting their names in parentheses
Right.
behind it so I can keep
just
them all in track.
Keep track of who I'm following, you know?
And actually, when she changed it, I was like, who's that?
Right.
Oh, it's Burchett's sister.
You
Okay.
can tell the Burchetts by their throw because they throw just like the Scots. So when I was coming up, guys like Gordon Martin, Alistair Gunn would come over, and they had a way different technique and everything than we did. But somehow those guys, that family, whether they watch those guys coming up, but they throw just like Gordon Martin used to throw or something.
Well, they all got it from their old man, right?
Yeah, I never knew their old man.
I heard he was, pretty good thrower in his
Must
time.
be a top amateur or something out there. They're from out west.
Mid.
Mid.
Let's see here. One was. I'm gonna mess these states up by one. I think one was from Iowa. The other was from Missouri. I can't remember. They're in that part, the corn area.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
But no, we had a running joke that was how they were born. They were holding the handle of a 56 on the way out.
I remember them coming up and them being lightweight guys.
Oh yeah.
And no one was really concerned with them. It was like, oh fuck, lightweight. This thing isn't gonna. But they got bigger.
Oh yeah.
They started growing.
Oh, they're both about 250 now.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
boys.
That reminds me a lot of the way the Paulies were. Kurt and Jason Pauly were these scrawny little kids. They didn't have lightweight classes back then. And then, by the time they were in their 20s, Kurt was like 250, 255, and Jason was like 290. And they just grew up,
That was an interesting guy, Jason. I still talk to him on Facebook every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because I only met him in 2016 at the I'm going to say that name wrong, Legionnaire.
Oh, Legionnaire, yeah.
Legionnaire, yep. So I met him there, and they're all telling me how great of a pro he was, and how good of a guy, and I'm sitting there going, he's like $160.
Yeah.
I said, I'm impressed if they're like, no. And then I think who showed me? Doug showed me a picture of him.
Yeah.
Found it on Facebook. I said, oh.
We used to travel together all the time. We'd go everywhere together, and when his final season as a pro, he was like 280, 290, and so I think we did our last games together, one of the Canadian games, so it probably would have been earlier in the season, like June or July. And I hadn't seen him, and then we came back and we were doing Edinburgh, which at that time was in May. So I get on the field and I'm with Kurt Pauly, and he goes, hey, do you see my brother anywhere out there? And he's just fucking with me. And I look out, and I was like, no, I don't see him. And he goes, look again. And I look, and I don't see him. And I go, where is he? He goes, he's the judge. And I looked, and I was like, oh my God, because he must have lost 100 pounds in that, from July to May.
Oh my goodness.
And he was running triathlons and
Iron Man or whatever.
Iron Man and paddle board, and he was telling me, I had him on a podcast a few months back, and maybe about a year ago, and he said he wanted to paddle board from Erie, Pennsylvania to Cleveland on the lake, and I'm like, you're crazy.
I don't even want to drive from Erie, PA to Cleveland.
He's ridden his bike several times from
Really?
Erie to Cleveland, yeah.
Oh. I mean, first you got to start in Erie.
Yeah. I'm an Erie kid. I was born there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Until I was like 4th grade.
I'm up there doing a job right now, so I'm up there quite often right now.
Driving around the peninsula.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my family's all still here. Yeah, Erie. I tell you what, you want to talk about people getting snow? Erie, Pennsylvania gets it worse than any place in the country.
I heard that. Paulie was giving a good update over the last year or two about how many inches. They got 36 inches in a matter of a week.
Yep. and it comes right across the Great Lakes and just slams right into Erie, Pennsylvania. You know?
And it's not, and Cleveland's only what, 50 miles away, 60 miles away.
It's amazing because where we live in Vermilion, so we're on the far. I guess we would consider the far. We're actually between Cleveland and Toledo, but we're far west side of Cleveland. You start driving, and it could be, no snow at all, and by the time you get 20 minutes closer to Cleveland, there could be driving snowstorms just because you hit that snow belt, and that's where Erie gets the brunt of that. They get the tip of the spear of that snow belt, and it just dumps all over.
Oh, just feet upon feet. I
remember being a kid, and then we couldn't do Christmas because it was so bad. You had to wait till the following weekend, and
Santa couldn't make it in.
Well, you couldn't go to couldn't go to aunts or uncles. So it was like Hanukkah. You'd have like a week, 2 weeks of Christmas. Instead of one. Whenever you could get out of the house.
Get out of school for about 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, but I don't remember them getting out of school like they do nowadays. Now they're out of school for everything.
Oh. The chill in the air.
Right.
Out of school.
There's a chance for snow. They call them off. And
I remember it being negative, like 30 wind chill, and them still deciding if they were going to send us.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
I mean, you would stand in the house or stand in your garage and wait for the bus to come, then you run out there. But and now they have school bus stops literally like every 4 driveways.
Oh.
So if you get stuck behind a school bus, you're screwed.
I live way out in the country area, and that school bus be going down the one only road to get to where you got to go, and they're stopping at every kid's house, and it's just funny. They all live on the same 10 miles, 4 houses apart from each other.
Yep.
So you start hitting the accelerator, and then you stop. Accelerator, stop.
And they don't let them walk. They can't walk a couple feet.
I remember walking a quarter of a mile to get to where I had to go.
Yeah.
And my parents being like, "Better hurry up."
Yeah. Yeah, my son was riding his bike to school at like 6th grade. He never rode the bus, but he would just get on his bike and go. And now he's in high school. He doesn't want to be seen riding a bike.
Oh, you can't. You can't. You gotta ride with your buddies or your buddy's brother or sister.
Yeah. It's a status thing for sure. It's crazy. He's getting ready to go to Judd Logan's track camp for the 2nd year.
That's gonna be phenomenal, I bet.
And he's so psyched because he's 8th grade this year. But he's in the high school, so the 8th grade's in the high school here at Vermilion, and but he's officially a freshman next year, so he's jumping up to the bigger implements.
What do they go up to now? 12 pounds.
He went from a 9-pound shot, 4K, so almost 9 pounds, up to a 12-pound shot, from a 1K disc to a 1/6 disc.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so he's getting used to it. And
I was watching one of the videos you had with him. He did something. He got a cert, or I believe something. You whacked him in the head with.
With the pad that didn't show normal face.
Yeah.
That was a Jocko thing. Jocko Willink did a podcast on Musashi, the samurai, and about showing normal face. And he said he did it with his kids, but he used a like wrapping paper roll, and then when they would have to stand there, and he would whack him with it and had to show normal face or whack him again. So I told Hayden we were going to do that if he celebrated after a throw, because I said, look, the scariest thing is you want to be like Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor would come out, knock the shit out of somebody, and it looked like he was just bored out of his mind, and it was so scary. And I said, that's what you got to be. So I showed videos of Fedor. So, but the first time he hit that big PR, he just let out a woo, And I was like, all right, now you got to get hit with that.
How dare you celebrate your achievements?
I got so much shit. It was obviously fucking around,
Yeah.
People were like, okay, let him celebrate.
Oh.
He's allowed to celebrate. I just like to play games with him, and he's having fun. So
that's great. I mean, my dad, he got pretty into my Highland Games. So he comes to many games as he can, and he's always asking, you going alone? You need him to go with you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll drive, we'll drive halfway. And it's always nice to have that father support come in. I mean, it's great to have him. He's an ex-football coach for Solon. D1, pretty good high school team.
Powerhouse.
Oh, yeah, every year they're going somewhere.
Yep.
So it really fell in love. I mean, after any games, he's texting me, how'd you throw? Any big numbers? No, Dad. I feel bad when I don't throw any big numbers.
What does he go?
Oh, I threw 150 hammer, Dad. You should have seen it.
Good, he doesn't.
Should have seen it. It was awesome.
Yeah, my parents could have cared less. They always thought I was goofy. Get a real job, I didn't have a real job. I've never had a real job, but I didn't have a career until I was like 39.
It's overrated. I'll tell you from experience. It's way overrated.
Yeah, I don't know if you can call this a career anyhow, but
A fun one.
yeah, it's good. You know, I'll do my second workout here of the day when I'm done here.
I'm fighting to get one in today,
Yeah.
and that's got to be nice.
Oh well. So, well, we'll wrap this up, and hopefully we can get your keys out of your car. And
Yeah, that's thanks for taking my mind off that. I forgot all about that.
I just thought about that. So I don't know. It's well, we got time for people start showing up, but maybe we can get it out before then.
I can work on it with a hanger,
Figure
maybe.
something out.
Hey man, I do appreciate the invite.
Hey,
That's
we'll
awesome.
do it again, man.
That's awesome. Thanks.
The show's growing, and we're getting more and more different types of people on it. But man, my first love is Highland Games, and I want Highland Games athletes on here. You know, no matter how big it gets. And same thing with like Urquhart. Urquhart tried to talk me out of having him on the show. So it's like,
I was a little nervous driving in. Like, all right, I can't cuss as bad much as I want
you
to.
can cuss all
I
you want.
know.
We got an NC-17 right now.
Let me turn my car off.
Probably got a fire alarm going
Yeah.
on.
I can't hear my phone worth a damn, so I try to put it as loud as I can.
I'll always have Highland Games athletes on. It's my first love, and you guys, man, at the tip of the spear, you're killing it and
Yeah.
throwing far. And I know what that lifestyle's like, and it's a lot of fun, and I like hearing about it. So,
Well, I look forward to every year. Like I said, you know, the young guys. I listen to a lot of your podcasts. All the young guys are really just kind of became friends over time, and
yeah.
every game going to, and even with Chafin and Doug, you know, look forward to driving up to Royalton to meet with them and head out and see the boys wherever we're going. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it really, I don't know what I would have done without it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really couldn't have stuck with strongman. Couldn't have stuck with powerlifting.
There's something about throwing that gets a hold of you, and just like we talked about jiu-jitsu, I think it has a lot to do with that technique and the fact that every time you can go out, there's a possibility that you're going to throw just a little bit further and figure something out. And, if I get my hip through just a little bit more, I turn my foot just a little bit more, I catch it a little further back, and boom. I had a girl, Molly Haas, message me this morning, and she said she's been playing with my Sanford technique in the hammer, and she said she couldn't figure it out, and then something clicked in her brain, and she said she went 12 feet further in the heavy hammer.
In the heavy?
That's what I said. I said, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
That's not a PR. That's a...
Right. So, you know, it's that kind of stuff that'll keep you coming back for more every year. And when I retired, I had enough. But I had enough of, you know, what I would have had to put into it to keep progressing. I didn't want to do it anymore, you know. Yeah. So there was too much going on with the gym and all this stuff. But hey, man, for a long time, it was number one priority. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a bug that bites you, and you get addicted to it. So
something about throwing for sure.
Yep.
All right, well, let's wrap this up and go get your keys out of your car.
I appreciate it again, sir.
This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.